Serum layering without the sensitivity. This is how to layer your actives if you're just getting started or you do have more sensitive skin. And please keep in mind this is layering, not mixing. You see, a lot of people like to talk about layering their actives or mixing certain ingredients together, but sometimes it can cause irritation for some people. And if you're just getting started or if you do have more sensitive skin, there are some things that you should keep in mind. We'll first start off by talking about what is an active. What is an active ingredient? An active ingredient is something that does work, whereas the formula that it's actually put into is a delivery system. It's the vehicle, or what can get that into skin. Think of it as kind of like driving a car. A car is great and it can help you get where you need to go, but in order to do that, you have to have an active driver that's going to say, I know exactly what the goal is and how to get there. Otherwise, I mean, unless it's like an autonomous vehicle, it really can't do it itself. In skincare, it's the same way. The active is something that is potent and strong and has a goal of where it wants to get in your skin. But it can't do that unless it's in the right formula or vehicle so that it can penetrate. And actives can be really potent. We're talking about different acids. We can even talk about peptides and collagen, but these actives are a little bit too much on their own, which is why they are put in vehicles to get into our skin. Now, when some people go into layering, especially with their actives, they go way too hard. You do not need to, and you should not be using every single active every single day. Even if you use actives more sparingly, they will still work. But if you do want to combine actives, how should you do so? You need to know what the goal is in order for you to actually work towards it. Secondarily, you want to make sure that you're getting actives that can actually do that work. Specifically, some of these formulas contain things like vitamin C, niacinamide, some beta carotene, some collagen, some peptides, etc. And these are actually from April Skin, which is the first K-beauty brand that I've ever seen that actually has actives. Have you noticed that K-beauty is wonderful? We love it. It's very gentle and soothing for skin, but a lot of K-beauty just seems to avoid actives. You don't see acids. You don't see retinoids. And K-beauty is so gentle that I think that's why a lot of those brands tend to avoid them. But where are the K-beauty options for those of us who don't have perfect glass skin already, right? Where are the K-beauty options for those of us who do struggle with breakouts or pigmentation or fine lines and texture? Well, my friends, I have found it, and it's called April Skin, and I don't know why. I mean, you can use it all times of the year, not just in April, but maybe it makes your skin look like it would in April. I don't know, is April like fresh, springy? Again, my skin in April historically hasn't looked the best because I grew up with acne, and I mean, I was probably breaking out with April as well as every single other month of the year. But names aside, this K-beauty brand is absolutely phenomenal, and they do combine potent actives that do the work in formulas that are actually gentle and absorbable on skin. I think this is literally the first K-beauty brand I found that actually caters to actives. We're gonna talk about that, but of course they are also vegan and cruelty-free, and the other good thing is that they don't contain any artificial fragrance. I know that some people are very sensitive to fragrance, and especially when talking about actives, fragrance isn't a problem for everyone, but when these actives are penetrating into the skin, you don't want to be penetrating artificial fragrances into the skin, especially if you're sensitive. And we are working with April Skin on today's video, but we're going to talk about that in a second, because when it comes to layering skin, we have to prep it first. My biggest recommendation is making sure that you are cleansing and then toning with something that doesn't have a bunch of actives. For instance, if you wash with a benzoyl peroxide wash, you don't want to follow up with something like a vitamin C, because benzoyl peroxide is an oxidizer, whereas vitamin C is an antioxidant. When you put them together, they kind of hang out and chill with each other as opposed to the vitamin C actually working on your skin. So wash with a gentle cleanser. You can tone if you want to, but your serums really should be the main step. And for all intents and purposes of skin layering, I would only recommend doing 2 at a time. If you're struggling with large pores and texture, a combination such as niacinamide as well as polyhydroxy acids will be an absolute favorite. Niacinamide is that vitamin B3, which we love. It helps to regulate oil production in the skin, and therefore it can help with the look and feel of how large pores are, or kind of how they appear on the skin. Niacinamide also helps your skin create more ceramides naturally, and it can help if you're prone to a little bit of hyperpigmentation. But this serum also has beta carotene. You might recognize that from carrots, but did you know that it's also in that retinoid family, that vitamin A that we know and love? Now, this is not the same as a retinoid. This is not a prescription strength, retin A. This is a very gentle K-beauty version of an active, but it does have the niacinamide and the beta carotene, which pair wonderfully with this. This right here has to be one of my favorite products. This is a PHA AHA 10%, and this is one of the most gentle resurfacing serums that I've ever used. I would actually go as far to say as this is also one of the most effective AHAs from K-beauty that I've ever used, because we actually have acids in a gentle K-beauty product. Who would have thunk it? When you look at all the K-beauty products out there, a lot of them don't have these acids and you don't think it's possible, but I have found one, my friends. Like a little leprechaun looking for gold at the end of the rainbow. This is my gold at the end of the rainbow because it makes my skin glow. This is the Collagen Calendula 10% PHA AHA Resurfacing Serum, and this does have those polyhydroxy acids as well as those alpha hydroxy acids. PHAs are like these large sugar molecules, and so they sit on top of the skin and they're very gentle exfoliants, whereas AHAs are also relatively gentle depending on what concentration they're in. And those AHAs are also water soluble, but they can kind of hold on to moisture inside of the skin. And for someone who does have sensitive skin, you want to kind of jump into actives sparingly, not like, you know, a peeling solution all at once. But this is a gentle, lightweight, easily absorbable formula, and it pairs so wonderfully with this. I would apply this one first and then this one on top. Again, remember, we're not mixing, so we're not mixing it in our hands and applying it. We're literally dispensing some of this, applying it to the skin. I especially have a lot of sebaceous filaments and texture here on my nose, so putting that there, letting it dry down for about 30 seconds to a minute if you have the time, and then taking your second serum. As you can actually see, this one is slightly more of a gelatinous texture. It's not a moisturizer, it's still a serum, but it's a little bit thicker. And then just taking this and applying it over the top. I love this combination. It really works so well if you have texture, if you have large pores that you're trying to diminish the look and appearance of, if you're trying to get a mild exfoliation and just kind of help with a little bit of suppleness in the skin, but without drying it out or overly causing sensitivity. Do keep in mind there are some things like tea tree or lavender in here. For those who are uber sensitive, you might want to be aware of that and just know if you have an irritation to them. But overall, these have not irritated my skin, and especially on my nose, this is one of my favorite combinations. Speaking of niacinamide, there's a rumor that goes around the internet saying that you shouldn't mix niacinamide and vitamin C. But in this case, I am actually recommending it. Your acne big sister, Cassandra Bankson, is actually recommending trying a niacinamide and a vitamin C together. Now, you should always patch test when you are putting any new product in your routine or any combination, but I love this combination. And no, it doesn't destabilize them, it doesn't cause irritation, at least in my anecdotal experience. This combination is wonderful if you are prone to dark spots, if you have some mild hyperpigmentation, or if you get those little dots and dark spots left over after blemishes. I love these. Now, we spoke about niacinamide, and specifically remember that niacinamide can penetrate into skin and say, hey cells, don't share your pigment with other people, just keep it right here. And that stops the look of dark spots from kind of showing up. Now, vitamin C is an amazing brightener, but we also know that it stops the production of that melanin pigment unevenly inside of the skin. So if you're looking for something over the counter for dark spots, vitamin C is an absolute favorite. And together, these are super potent and effective. Now again, some people have been afraid of niacinamide and vitamin C. These are at lower concentrations. This is also a 20% vitamin ACE brightening serum, so this contains other ingredients as well. The way I would recommend applying these is starting with the ACE. If you dispense them, you can see it's kind of this yellow color. It does have this because again, at 20%, it is relatively potent, but I find that this doesn't irritate the skin. Again, always patch test first, just to make sure. But then once that's on, you can go in with this clarifying serum that has that niacinamide, and you can apply that right over top. I feel that this combination is especially good if your dark spots do come after breakouts, especially because the clarifying serum has some tea tree and it's formulated for acne-prone skin. This is not going to cure acne. There is no cure for acne, but together these really are like a power couple. And if you wanted to even apply this underneath sunscreen during the day, this could help boost up the efficacy of sunscreen as well. You can also do serum layering morning and night, or just once a day. If you're starting, I would recommend once a day, just kind of to ease into it. But again, these are relatively gentle formulas and I haven't had any problems. Now, what if you are breaking out mildly, but your skin is really irritated? This is actually a combination that could kind of help to soothe acne, but also make sure that you're not aggravating it. Again, we have this clarifying serum with the tea tree, with the niacinamide, and with this beta carotene, but I would actually recommend pairing that with this vegan collagen serum. This is a collagen peptide plumping serum, and this one is amazing. It's soothing, it kind of brings hydration into the skin. This vegan collagen can penetrate a little bit deeper because it's fragments of that, whereas animal collagen just kind of sits on top of the skin because the molecule is too large to absorb. But even if it's sitting on top of the skin or penetrating, collagen can kind of act as a humectant to draw water into the skin. And together, these are beautiful. This does have 40% soluble collagen, and the peptides in here are really plumping, so this is also good if you need hydration or have issues with fine lines and wrinkles that we'll talk about in a second. But when using these together, if you do have acne-prone skin, this can be a really soothing way to layer your serums and to help with texture, but without overly aggravating your skin or adding ingredients to skin that can often trigger people who are more prone to acne. With this combination, I would recommend using the beta carotene first. I believe it's a little bit more acidic, and in general, you want to use more acidic things closer to the skin and then more neutral or slightly more alkaline things afterwards. But applying the clarifying serum first, letting it dry down just a touch, and then going in with the collagen peptide serum. I really love this one. I think that it is wonderful. Collagen in a lot of products can be a little bit gimmicky, but this one is a nice purple serum, and I don't know, am I a purple person? I don't know, maybe I'm a purple person. I use the purple heart emoji a lot. I'm starting to think that I am a purple person. But this is a nice gel texture, and because of the collagen and peptides, I believe it's slightly more alkaline. But because of the collagen and peptides, it's slightly less acidic. So it's still in the acidic part of the pH scale. It's not neutral or alkaline, but it is more alkaline rather than something that is more acidic. Now, you actually probably could swap these. I don't think it would make a ton of difference. But again, the main thing is just don't mix them. Make sure that you're layering them. Now, if you do have fine lines and wrinkles, your telomeres are shortening, you are enjoying the process and the privilege of aging, but you are looking at fine lines and wrinkles and you don't really want them there, this is a wonderful combination. Again, this ACE is super potent. It does have vitamins A and C and E, and it is meant to kind of brighten skin tone, smooth over the skin, really give you an antioxidant punch. But in combination with this collagen peptide serum, this is so soothing. It really helps to plump the skin, and together these are literally a power couple. Also, is it just me or is red and purple like such a pretty color combination? I think this was my favorite color combination when I was a kid. But this serum, it does have the peptides, it does have the soluble collagen, but it also has hyaluronic acid, which can kind of draw moisture into the skin. And a lot of people don't realize that sometimes when you see fine lines or wrinkles, it's not actually wrinkles in the dermis, the deeper layers of the skin. It's actually just a little bit of dehydration, or it could be a combination of both. But for people who do have more dehydrated skin, it can look more papery, a little bit more tissuey, a little bit more wrinkly. And just by adding hydrators such as hyaluronic acid, peptides, collagen, moisture, it really can help. This serum is wonderful for plumping, and when combining it with the actives inside of this, mwah! It also just, is it just me or does it look like holiday? Does it look like holiday? They sell these in a set for holiday, by the way. We did a TikTok video exposing April's skin and what is and isn't worth the money, but yes, this to me, oh, it looks like a poinsettia. That's what it is. Well, are poinsettias purple? Am I purple? Don't answer that. And then let's say you don't have major skin concerns, but you do want to layer your actives and you're just looking for some brightness, you're looking for some exfoliation, you want your skin to be renewed, this combination is for you. This is our AHA PHA exfoliant along with the collagen peptide serum, and this is a great way to combine exfoliation with a hydrator. Now, as mentioned, some exfoliation can be overly stripping to the skin. For instance, if you were to use like a BHA, a beta hydroxyacid salicylic acid, it's oil soluble and it could actually be more drying for people who don't have a lot of moisture in their skin naturally. But this right here, because it is that PHA and that AHA, it is gentle, it penetrates well. It's also got that calendula and other ingredients that kind of hydrate the skin. But if you put it along with this, first off, this exfoliates those top layers so that this can penetrate deeper, and then this goes in and this plumps it up. The peptides in here can help with cellular signaling. The hyaluronic acid can kind of pull water into the skin. And because this formula has a high water concentration, this serum can actually take the water and the moisture from this one and pull it deeper into the skin so that the hyaluronic acid doesn't dry you out. Because we've actually done an entire video on how hyaluronic acid can cause more dryness in certain skin types when the ambient environment is not working in our favor. I would recommend starting with this, kind of that liquidy serum, just applying that on, tapping it into skin, tap, 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 and then layering this right over top. This is super nice. It will kind of help to seal it in. And these are both really lightweight formulas. You know, this one's more like a liquid, and then this one is a nice little purple gel, and it really just kind of seals these in. Now, once you've done your serum layering, if your skin feels good, you can just go with it, go with the flow, apply a sunscreen if it's during the day. But if you actually want to seal them in, that's when you can go in with a moisturizer. There are many you can use. I would just recommend using one that doesn't have a lot of actives. Your moisturizer should kind of create an occlusive barrier on the skin and basically lock in all the goodness of your serums. This one's a hydrogel cream. It does have squalane. I do love that very, very much. And one of our editors is also obsessed with it. Her skin just drinks it up. This to me is kind of like a K-Beauty version of the Neutrogena water hydrogel cream in a way. It is a bit more of a cream, but when you actually rub it in, the texture is very, very similar. I would say this is slightly more hydrating, but it kind of blends down into this water and it seals everything onto the skin, but it's lightweight, which is also what I love from K-Beauty. I find that most K-Beauty formulas don't weigh down the skin a ton. And even when layering multiple formulas together, these don't ball up on each other. They don't start to like pill on the skin, which when serum layering is really important, especially with niacinamide. Niacinamide can tend to pill up. It's a relatively non-irritating amount of niacinamide in here, and so I find that it doesn't do that on the skin. If you do have specific concerns, serum layering is a really great way to work on those. And again, I would only recommend doing 2 at a time. If you wanted to, you could do 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, but I wouldn't want to go overkill, and the best thing to do would be use them at alternating times of the week if you wanted to go all in. But remember, just 2 would also be perfectly fine. You don't need a million things for them to work. And I think that K-Beauty is kind of a testament to the fact fact that you can have something be effective even if it's not overly stripping or overly damaging. Whereas a lot of things that I love here in the US, they go, but they go hard. And sometimes, you know, they're effective, but they can cause the drying, the peeling, the stinging, etc. This is the first K-beauty line that I've seen that's vegan, cruelty-free, with actives and all of the goodies. And yes, you know that I've got a giveaway for you. Because April Skin decided to partner with us on this, they were able to give me some extra products, and I of course am giving those to you. So if you want to join us on some of our weekly live streams, we do give those away. And yes, because I pack and ship them myself, I do send them internationally as long as your country accepts packages from USA, specifically California. Do remember to layer responsibly. Always remember to stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Be beautiful inside and out, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.